where the cold stones sing, to emerald woods where old gods cling. A world of steel, a flame of fate, Allhaven call, step through the gate.
Καλησπέρα φίλοι και φίλες του καναλιού. Ακόμα ένα επεισόδιο μετά από αρκετό καιρό, καθώς επαγγελματικές υποχρεώσεις με κράτησαν μακριά από τις ηχογραφήσεις και το περιεχόμενο του campaign μας. Σήμερα έχω ένα special επεισόδιο, καθώς φιλοξενώ έναν από τους πιο καινούργιους παίκτες του campaign, τον Ρόμπερτ. Ο Ρόμπερτ είναι Βρετανός, οπότε θα κάνουμε την ομιλία μας στα αγγλικά. Hello, Rob. I just said that to the friends of the channel that you are one of the newest players in my campaign.
Yep.
It's a great honor to have you here with me today. As usual, Robert has prepared some questions for me, which I don't know anything about them. And he's going to ask me those questions. We're going to have a nice conversation. And yeah, basically that's it. So, Robert, tell us please a few things about yourself. Share as many information as you want. And let's begin.
I don't know how much is interesting for your viewers, but yeah, my name is Robert. I'm from England, and I now live in Wales with my family. And yes, I'm very new, not just to this campaign of yours, but new to D&D in general. So I've only played a handful of times, so the whole kind of concept is quite new to me. Yeah.
It's an honor to have you as a player.
It's been a pleasure to get involved. We're really enjoying it so far.
I'm happy to hear that. You have some questions prepared for me. Okay, shoot away. Let's start.
Yeah. Well, obviously, as a new player, I say not just to the campaign, but new to D&D in general. Obviously, I've heard of D&D before, but I don't actually know how it works until we have started. So, from that perspective, I do have a few questions. With comparison, with other games, they're quite sort of limited in the scope of the rules of those games and how they are played, whether it's something like Hero Quest or, let's say, for example, something completely different, Monopoly. The rules are quite limited, aren't they, in what you can and can't do. D&D, on the other hand, seems to be much more expansive and, from my perspective, less clearly defined. So I'm getting to my question. How can you know what you can and can't do? How do you know the scope of what you can do? Again, just say, to put that question into perspective, if I was comparing, say, something like Hero Quest, you roll the dice, you move 3 steps, and you reach somebody, and then you attack them, and you don't have to think about changing weapons. You don't have to think about carrying stuff, bags. Those kind of things don't kind of exist, and you can basically, what it seems like, there isn't really a boundary of those rules. How do you keep track of that? How do you know how does a new person know what they can and can't do?
Well, that's the beauty of the game. I mean, it's so vast. It can give you, it's giving you so many opportunities to do things. And yes, you're right. Sometimes the rules are not there, and sometimes it's up to the dungeon master or the game master to say whether something is legal or not. From the player's point of view, you don't have to worry about that so much. I mean, you can just say what you want to do, and the dungeon master, the game master, will tell you whether that's possible or not. So from this point of view, you don't have to worry, just use your imagination. From the player's also point of view, you have to think that you're playing some sort of, you're improvising. Imagine yourself playing a role in a movie, in a theater play, and without actually having to learn any quotes. There's no lines for you to...
no script.
Exactly. So you just go along with the flow. You react to the situations that you come upon. From the dungeon master's point of view, there are a few rules that you need to know. But I assure you that most of the times the dungeon master has to adapt to the situation, because there's plenty of times that the players want to do something that will make you change the way you have prepared things. You need to, as a dungeon master, you need to make sure that you keep the game fair for the players, but you need also to make sure that the game is competitive for the players as well. So there's a very fine line that comes with experience that you don't need to cross. It's easy to cross that line and make mistakes, making the game unfair for the players or making the game too easy for the players sometimes,
Yeah.
depending on whether you want to please the players or not, or whether you want to kill the players. And believe me that I've been in both sides in my career as a dungeon master.
Right.
But yeah, that comes from experience. But since I guess you're asking from the player's point of view, don't
Yeah.
worry about it too much. Just say what you want to do. In combat, the rules are more defined. There are very certain things that your character can do, and you will learn them eventually. All I'm saying to my new players is that don't worry about learning the rules. Just make sure you know your character.
Yeah.
Try to read it and know your abilities, basically what you're able to do and not, and then everything else will come with experience. So
Okay.
it's not that difficult, basically, or it's not
So-
as hard as you think it is.
So with that in mind, with considering your answer, does that mean if I were to play a different campaign with a different dungeon master, that in theory I could be dealing with completely different rules?
No and yes. Well, depending on the game system. If you're playing the same game rules under the same game rules, for example, Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition or 5.5, which is the newest edition of the game, or 4th edition or 3rd edition, then yes, the rules will be different. But the main difference when it comes down to the game master is how they want to apply the rules in game. Okay,
Right.
there are some guys that are very strict to it, and they won't bend the rules regardless of the consequences.
Right.
There are some other dungeon masters that don't care about the rules at all, and that can make the game a little bit chaotic, because
Okay.
if you don't have a baseline, it's
Yeah,
difficult
that
to follow.
consistency is missing.
But yes, look, overall, this is what I'm trying to tell to my players. It's all about having fun.
Yeah.
You need to play with a dungeon master that makes you feel comfortable with, that can help you, get better as a player.
Yeah.
You must not feel that the dungeon master is playing against you. He's playing against and with you. Okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's it can be a different experience if you play with another dungeon master, or even if you play with different players. Even if the dungeon master is the same and you play with other players that for any reason you don't seem to get along with, it's going to be completely different.
Okay. And something. My other question, my next question, actually, you've kind of started, I think, to answer it already. One of the biggest challenges that I think that I've faced, and also I think similar with my wife, as new players to the game, is remembering what those steps are. Like, say, again, if we were to compare that to a sort of simpler game like Hero Quest or Monopoly or whatever, there's very little to actually remember. I mean, you roll the dice. As you move forward, you attack, and then it's the next person's turn. It's very quite simple. You said that you don't have to remember everything in your answer to the previous question. But how, do you need to remember certain things, like what dice you're meant to be rolling, at what times you're meant to be rolling? You said that, with some dungeon masters it might end up feeling like a little bit chaotic, and, when you are new and it is so open and expansive, in the initial stages, that might feel a bit chaotic and a bit hard to remember what's going on. Particularly, if you do have maybe it's different for different characters, but I think that my character is a dwarf and he's a relatively simple character, I think, so it's quite easy to follow what's going on. But some of the other characters with spells and things, it's a lot to remember in order to keep the flow of the game going kind of naturally, rather than it being too like stop, start, what am I doing? Oh, I forgot what I'm doing. Is there a tip that you could give maybe that would help beginners to remember what they're doing, or maybe not a tip to remembering, but maybe some priorities? What would be like the most important things to remember?
Well, it's very important as a new player to start a character from level 1, because as you level up, you will end up learning your character by playing. Okay. The game system we're playing with is a D20, which means that the majority of the, if not all of the rolls you will be making is with a D20, the 20-sided dice. The difficult part is to know when you need to roll a skill check, ability check, a saving throw, and that's the most, let's say, complicated part. But this is the role of the DM to come and tell you, okay, Robert, now you need to roll a saving throw because there's a fireball coming your way, and I need to see whether you're fast enough to dodge it, for example. Okay.
So we don't necessarily need to actually remember these things. It's just going to be guided by the DM.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing you need to know is your abilities. Okay. And that's why playing a wizard or a sorcerer or a cleric, any spellcaster basically, as a new player is very, very difficult, because you have to learn what your spell, you have to know what your spell does. Because if you don't and you're trying to figure it out while playing, you will be slowing the game down, which necessarily isn't bad. Okay. But depending on the group, if the group is understanding and they're willing to help you
and be patient,
take up time, it's gonna be okay. But there have been cases where some players don't have any patience, and when there's someone new playing a spellcaster and they don't know their spells, this can be tiring. So yes, what Özlem is doing right now is very, very difficult, because he's playing such a character which is very, very difficult to learn. Even players after many, many years don't seem to know their spells. Okay. Yeah, sometimes spells change, sometimes spells are open to, different explanation by each DM. Sometimes there is room for argument whether someone can do something or how a spell works. No, you don't have to worry about that as a new player. My only tip for the new player is learn your character. Try to read your character, try to read your abilities, to have a basic idea of what each ability does. Okay.
Yeah.
And eventually, as you play, you level up your character, you will end up knowing exactly what you need to do and what each ability does.
Yeah, that makes sense. You mentioned earlier on about experience, like yourself, as an experienced DM, you've been playing a long time, and obviously that means that you know what's happening and you can facilitate the flow of the game quite nicely. As a beginner, I noticed, I think in the last game that we played together, I did notice a difference, both myself and with Özlem in that game. I did feel like we were getting quicker and we were needing a lot less help with what we were doing. So I think that was definitely, I don't know about from your perspective as the DM or from Stella's perspective, but certainly from my perspective, I thought, this is actually flowing quite nicely. I very rarely now in that game, needed to ask for help or what should I be doing or what's going on. It did just seem to flow much nicer, and I think that experience is starting to kind of pay dividends, as it were.
Yeah, of course, because and I did tell you after the game that you guys played really well. You don't realize it, but there is a structure to this game, and you're starting to getting the hang of it, and you're doing really well. The main key is for the player to be interested in their character, interested in the game, because if you don't care about it, you won't get any better.
Yeah.
If you invest in your character, if you want to play, if you want to get better, you will. It's simple as that. Just give it time
Yeah.
and don't stress about it. Play the game.
Yeah, like you said before, it has to be fun, doesn't it? I mean, the point of playing a game is that it has to be fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
And we're definitely enjoying it, and enjoying it from different perspectives, because it is a really unusual game. I don't think Özlem and I have played any game even remotely similar to this. We've never played a kind of game that's so open, where you could where you feel like you can go in any direction at any time. It's like that's really unusual in games, isn't it? Because normally they are much more strict. There is either a board and you can only go where that board says, but now it feels like we could, we have an entire planet. We can literally go anywhere in that planet at any time. There's not really any kind of restrictions. So while in the early stages that kind of feels a little bit overwhelming, it's also kind of quite exciting that actually, it's not set in stone. We can kind of go and do lots of different things, and I think that side of it is really quite exciting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's no limitation to the game. The only limitation basically is your and my fantasy. Okay. Yeah, basically that's it. That's it.
Okay.
It just needs for you to be open to new ideas.
Yeah.
You need to be ready to react to whatever the game throws at you. In drama schools there are lessons about improv.
Yeah.
And basically what D&D is.
Which is not in everybody's comfort zone, is it? I mean, we're not all those types of people who are sociable or outgoing or creative in this area, but it is nice to kind of explore those personal characteristics as well, to kind of, in people's day-to-day lives. You go to work, you come home and you watch TV or whatever, and you make dinner, go to bed, and you start a new day. And we don't normally have a lot of opportunities in our day-to-day life for a kind of creative outlet. We watch other people being creative on television, we listen to other people being creative when we listen to music, but we don't really do a lot ourselves. So it is really nice to have something in our kind of daily or weekly lives, where we can be creative.
That's the truth. I agree with you. In my long career as a dungeon master, I played with plenty of players. There have been a number of players, a big number of players that at the very beginning they were just very shy to role play, and they were just focusing on rolling the dice and playing their characters in combat. But as they get to know, they got to know the group better, as they became more comfortable with the game. Every single one of them started to role play, and now in the vast groups of players that I haven't played with, honestly, there's not a single one who doesn't enjoy the role-playing part of the game. That's the magic of this game, because you get to role-play something sometimes completely different than you, and you get to express yourself in ways that maybe surprise yourself as well.
Yeah. I think that aspect is really understated. I mean, I think that's really quite powerful, that side of things, and it's something that I kind of look forward to in time myself, developing that side, and Özlem as well developing that side. But I have a sort of I don't know if it's a final question, but the last question that I had thought of beforehand, and also again it connects to something that you've mentioned a couple of times today, which is character development.
Okay.
And this role-playing side and the character development. So obviously we have characters, and those characters are names on a piece of paper, aren't they? I mean, for us as beginners, that's all they are. It's just a name on a piece of paper and a physical character on a board, or that we're moving around and using to play with. How can a beginner sort of learn how to develop a character? How to develop who that character actually is, and to get their soul out of their human body and get their soul into the character itself. How can a new person start that process?
Well, you may have not realized, but at least the character you're playing in the campaign is not just a name on a piece of paper. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert plays this really sleazy dwarf who's really slow on trusting pretty much everyone around him. He's not particularly very brave, but when push comes to the shove, he's there to defend his friends and allies. He's really tight with money, and he doesn't like spending money when it's not when it's his. He doesn't mind when it's not his. Okay, so as you can see, you have developed various aspects in your role playing that you may have not realized. The game does help you to does give you the tools to improve and expand your character. If you notice on your character sheet, somewhere on the, I think is the top right corner, says a part saying traits, flaws. So these are things that you can choose from the manual, or you can pick your own. Okay, that can help you roleplay. But then again, you don't have to do that. It all comes down to experience. It all comes down to whether you want what you want to play, how you would like your character to be. You want to be the brave hero. You want to be maybe the sleazy rogue. You may want to be the seductive female spellcaster, or the crazy wizard, or a bold pirate. I mean, it all comes down to yourself and what you have decided. It's up to you.
I think you're right. What you said when you started telling me about my characters' characteristics and behavior, and obviously when you're saying that, you can't see me, but I'm nodding my head like, yeah, my character is like that. Yeah, my character is like that. And I think you're right. You don't actually always realize, do you? Actually, your character is much deeper than simply a name on a piece of paper. It's kind of happened
every
already.
Single choice you made in the game, every single decision you make to speak to someone or not to speak to someone, or how to speak to someone, is role playing. That's the beauty of playing in person. Every strange look you throw at me when I, as an NPC, I'd say something to you, every reaction you have to someone in the party when they interact with you, it's role playing. And this is the difficult, because now with all of my friends we play online and we don't use video. I wish we could, because I want to see those expressions, these changes, because this is role playing. You see in a movie, when you see your favorite hero playing the role that you love, it's not all about words. It's about facial expressions as well. And everything you do in game is role playing.
The body language.
And that's why I wanted to say all those things that your character Balin does, because you are role playing and you don't realize that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's come, even in just a few times that we've played, it's come quite far, even though it might not seem that it's come very far, but actually it has gone quite far.
And it's gonna get even better than that. And it's a story, because this campaign now that I'm playing it with another party, and I did complete it with another party before you guys. And I can tell you that the facts of the campaign greatly depend on the characters. So at least in the stories I like to play, it's nothing set in stone. Many things can change depending on the character's choices and the character reactions to things, and everything is in motion. Like Brucey led, be water, my friend. The campaign is water. You guys, the players, the player choices shape the world. I think Balin's gonna have a big impact on your version of Allhaven, at least.
I like the character, but I would also like to continue to develop the character, and I would like to make the character a richer character. But I'm excited to see what will happen to my character, you know, in a week's time, in a month's time, in a year's time, you know, to see where he's going to end up and his journey.
Well, remember, it's all going to be you. I'm going to put you in situations and I will ask you to react, but every single choice is going to be yours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you, my friend.
And I'm excited about it. I'm excited. You can't see me now, but I'm smiling.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
me
excited
too,
about
me too.
it. Well, I mean, I think that's all the questions that I had prepared, and that's all the questions I've got for now. But I'm sure that as we continue to play and I continue to learn more, as questions get answered, probably I will have a lot of new questions and a lot of new things will
That's
come up
great.
as well.
Then I can promise you that I will bring you here again. Maybe have Stella or Oslem with us and have, you know, a bigger panel of players.
Yeah, that would be great.
To do this Q&A.
Yeah.
Thank you again. It was really a pleasure
Oh, it was my
speaking to
pleasure.
you.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too, me too. Ευχαριστώ πολύ φίλοι και φίλες του καναλιού που ήσασταν και σήμερα μαζί μας. Το επόμενο επεισόδιο δεν θα αργήσει να έρθει τόσο πολύ. Θα ετοιμάσω και ένα επεισόδιο στο προσεχές μέλλον με το lore της δεύτερης εποχής του κόσμου και το Sundering, το Celestial Sundering, το οποίο συνέβη στο Allhaven, και από εδώ και πέρα θα τα λέμε πιο τακτικά. Robert, thanks again. It was my pleasure, my friend.
Ευχαριστώ.
See you in game.
Yeah.
Take care. Okay.
Yeah. Traroniac on the track. Don't blink. Master of the map. Yeah, I write what you think. From the bogus holes to the dead my brink. If it lives in the Allhaven, I've had a dream. I'm the gnome with the notes. Yeah, the world's my page. Little boots, big brain. I'll run the age from light reach plains where the good folks stay to the swamp where the bugbears hunt their prey. Dwarves in the mountains, mugs raised high. Elves in the forest where the spirits sigh. Halflings roll dice while the campfires glow. Humans build kingdoms that rise and go. Unseen dragons spawn with a fire in breath. Walk like kings with a whisper of death. And QB with a smile that can steal your soul. Yeah, I took notes quick, then I paid the toll. Allhaven wild, yeah, the story don't end. From the sea to the beach where the cold winds bend. If you walk this world, better bring a friend or a gnome like me with a pen to defend. Allhaven deep, every shadow got teeth, every legend alive underneath your feet. Write it down, live it out, that's the code I keep. There's a finger's tale, never incomplete. Dead my calling with a sulfur sky, with the brave fall fast and the fools just die. Bugbears rushing with a savage grin, while the dragons porn rule with the fire within. I've crossed black water, sailed unknown seas, dodged shark reefs and storm-born breeze. Found lost islands where the tribes still sing of the fiery bird and the tiger king. Back to Abakas where the banners fly, Fort Gleam shining like a star in the sky. Met priests of luck, yeah, Eller's hand. Rolled the dice and I walked that land. Pantheon marching from high above, gods of war, of magic, of luck and love. Some bring light, some bring the end. Pick your path, hope your soul don't bend. I don't just wander, I document truth from the oldest ruin to the boldest youth. Every myth, every fight, every hidden door. Got my ink on lock like a scholar of war. University taught me the words and law.